Alright, DKS. So DKS is super fun. Everyone loves this track, right? It's not jank whatsoever. It's just a skill issue, okay? This is not poorly designed or anything. Alright, so I'm going to do this first part just in the recording because on the stream I kind of, my muscle memory kicked in and I was not able to explain the safe lines very well. So I'm going to go over the safe lines and the more optimal lines here, explain them a little bit better. And then I'm going to let the stream part of the video explain the items and the practical stuff because I think I go over that well. But yeah, let's get started. There's not too much different in the first half of the track. So here, let me show you the first part. You're going to be using this for both the optimal and the safe line. So you want to get an SMT here, and you want to hop into the cannon. Sometimes you get like a fast cannon. I'm not really sure what the difference is, but it saves like 0.05. And then here you want to hold right, just as you get out of cannon. Hold wide before the turn, hop into the half pipe, and then hop before the apex of the half pipe. That way you can take that part as tight as possible because otherwise it will shoot you really, really far wide. So once you get after that half pipe, you want to do, if you have a shroom, you want to take it like this. So you want to be on the left side of these humps here. You want to trick off these twice and shroom through this cut and trick off basically halfway in between the bottom or the valley and the top of the hill, so that we can get as many tricks as you can. And then here, there's two ways to take this double. So the safe method, which is what I'm going to show for the safe lines, you want to take this a little bit wide, but you want to release, and then you want to double hop in the double. So, and here you want to aim it in between this red pole, because you don't want to obviously hit it, and the house. So you want to take this a little bit wide, but then you want to double hop to the left. So I'm going to show it in motion. So you get two tricks. You go a little bit wide, and then you hop to the left, and then you hop to the left again. And you should land pretty close to the boost panel. And then for the rest of the track, you want to just go for one half pipe boost. Because usually, there's Shy Guys to avoid and things like that. And take the half pipe like this. So you want to do an MT to the right. And then you want to hop before you hit the apex of the half pipe jump, so that way you can take this turn as tight as possible. And that's the end of the lap. So there's only really two big differences between the optimal lines and the safe lines, so I'm going to show that right now. I actually think if you get the optimal lines good, they're actually a little bit more consistent, but you want to be adjusting the two, like you don't want to always be doing a double half pipe boost. It really just depends on where the Shy Guys are, which is what I'm going to show in a little bit. Oh, I forgot to explain. So if you don't have a shroom, what you want to be doing here is just taking the humps like this. So you go off the first hump like normal, and then you take a left MT and a right MT and continue the track like normal. And then here, for the MT method, you want to be brake drifting right before you hit this turn. You want to be releasing a little bit early, and then you want to be doing a right drift SMT and release before you get air off of the second part of the double. So that way you launch forward and land close to the boost panel once again. So I'm going to show that in motion. Okay, so you're tricking off these as much as you can. Do not trick off the last hump. Get an MT, brake drift near the end, and then release before you launch off. You can collect these coins. And then if you want to get two half pipe boops, you got to make sure that the stuff you do on Waluigi Stadium as well, where you hold right and press drift as you go off the half pipe, and then you do that same thing again. It's pretty risky to go for. I wouldn't suggest doing it very often. If you have tons of space and there's no Shy Guys in the way, then that's completely fine to go for. Otherwise, I would just do the single boost. So in terms of target times on this track, I'm going to say it's probably best to do a shroom time on this track just to get used to the shortcut and how to take the part after it as well. But you can do shroomless as well, and I've done plenty of shroomless runs on this track. They're probably both good to do, so whatever you prefer is honestly fine to do. In terms of shroom times, though, for worldwide players, I'd say go for a sub 208. For mid-div players, I'd say go for a sub 205. For high-level players, I'd say go for a sub 203. And if you're a top 500 player or div 1 player, I say you should go for a sub 201. And then in terms of shrimless target times, you literally just add 3 seconds on to whatever level you are at. So just add 3 seconds if you're like a div 1 player. You add 3 seconds. Sub 204 would be good. And then so on and so forth. So not too difficult to keep track of. The shroom cut saves about a second. So here are my attempts for the top 500 time. Of course, you don't want to spend hours and hours and hours on this track. As long as you get the double down and as long as you get the half pipes down, that will be much more than good enough for online. And that makes up a lot of the track anyways. So yeah, just make sure you get those parts down consistently. And you don't really have to worry about the target times on this track nearly as much. If I don't get it in 10 attempts, I'll just try and go for the best time I can. So that was the first attempt. This is the second. That was a good double. I want to get all 3 of these coins, but I only got 2. Okay. And this check guy was in the way. Did not get that coin or that coin. I probably shouldn't have done that, but... okay, well... Nice, got 2 coins. No, I didn't get that coin. That coin's so hard to get. So you don't even need the SMT there. You should make sure you release before you get the, before you lift off. Alright, let's see. Oh yeah, double coin, let's go. No trick, that sucks. That was far. Okay, I landed on the boost panel. Aw. Okay. I'll just keep going. Okay, 2-2. The big thing is that you don't really need to worry too much about a time on this track. It's very... like, it can sometimes be enjoyable to time trial. I personally don't find it enjoyable, but I know a lot of people do. So if you like time trialing it, by all means go for a good time, but you don't need to. Just because the inconsistencies are so whack that it's just not worth like trying to optimize everything. It's just better to get like decent driving, you know. There we go. That was really nice. Even though I got a 0.9 lap 1, it's still a pretty good start. All things considered. Nice. Got those 9 coins. Get this boost panel, why not? This could be a 201 if I get a really good lap 3. No, no trick. Come on, 201. Oh, barely not. Okay. So I didn't end up PBing for the rest of these attempts, so I'm not going to show them. But I did get this 2-minute time off stream. Almost got the sub 2, which would have been really nice, but it ended up being like 30 minutes after this one that I tried, and I just couldn't get it. So I'll be showing you guys this run right here as a final like model time for you guys. So after this will be items and practical stuff that you guys can work on yourself. So make sure you watch that part too. That's very important. And yeah, I mean, enjoy the rest of the run. Here you go. After you take double, what you want to be identifying is the Shy Guys. So the Shy Guys, they're going to be taking you out in a lot of cases, and they take out a lot of people. So what you want to do is you want to take a look at the Shy Guys as you are exiting double. Okay, we're going to ignore that. So you want to take a look at the Shy Guys as you're landing from double. That's the easiest. You have the most amount of time in the air and everything like that. So basically right here is when you want to be taking a look at the Shy Guys. See this red one? That's going to be kind of in my line. So I want to be going right. And then I don't want to be going for a double half pipe. And just take it like this. Alright, so right here is where you want to be looking. So it's kind of hard to tell with the pause menu. But like, you'll be able to see the Shy Guys at this point as to where you want to be going. So you see that Shy Guy at the bottom left of my character. He's going to be kind of in the way when I'm going through this. So that's, you just want to be looking at the first Shy Guy to avoid that one as much as you can. It's like here, see he's up there, and then here, once you go off this, now you want to be taking a look at the next Shy Guy. So of course, if the second Shy Guy was right next to my face, it's going to determine whether or not I want to go for a double half pipe boost or just a one and try to avoid it as much as I can. So you take a look at the first one and then you take a look at the rest. So looks like these are not going to be in the way for the most part. So I can just take it like this. I'm going to go over items. If you are unfamiliar with how the item system in this game works, it's both position and distance spaced. So what I mean by that, if you're in first, you're obviously in first, and you're going to be pulling things like coins and bananas and green shells and things like that. But when you're everything behind first, it's going to be based on your distance to first and your position as well. So if you're in second, but you're super far away from first, you can still pull pretty busted items. And since that it is distance based, you will a lot of times get really broken items at the very first set. So in terms of how you want to play this track, you kind of want to be in a mid spot, either going into lap 2 or 3, if you are not in first, basically. Because shocks on this track are generally, just like Waluigi Stadium, they are not bad at all. Because you have so many half pipes, you have so many, you have this long glider, there's so many boosts everywhere, that basically any shock in the front is not going to affect you. But here's what I mean by this. See, I already pulled Ghost Star, and this is just the first set. And that was only Like, normally, if there wasn't a cannon here, it would not be these good of items. But since first is in a cannon there, they're going to be at much further distance than they would normally be, meaning that you're going to pull much better items. So that's probably the most broken set in the entire game. So you want to be taking advantage of that as much as you can. So you want to be revolving your strategy basically around that first set, or you want to be running as much as you can. So if you're in bottom 4 by the end of lap 1, you probably want to be going for shock or double dodge. You know, since shock is so common, basically the only shocks that happen on this track are in between first set and second set. That's literally the only time the shock happens. It rarely ever happens anytime other than that, because people want to chain their items before the double shortcut and things like that. They don't want to have to hold on to shock for a very long time. So a lot of times they just chain it into second set, full stop, and it usually benefits them a lot because they oftentimes pull really good items, but it's a very obvious shock spot. So you want to be using your dodges when bottom 4 is basically in between that time frame. What else is there to cover? Oh yeah, the bills on this track. So the bills, there's 2 pretty good bill spots. Actually, there's 3. The one basically in the cannon or right before the cannon is good if you want to be chaining your next box. And the bill almost always drops you on the right side of the boost panel, but it doesn't drop you into the double either. So it's kind of like, it's really weird how it works. So this might be a bad example because of the people might pass too many. But yeah, it's going to drop you. Yeah, okay, this is a good example. So it drops you right here in front of the set, always. It doesn't drop you in front of double. It always drops you right in front of that set. So the second bill spot is basically right after this cannon. And this is going to take you basically right before the cut. So you bill right here. And this covers basically every single shock a lot of the time. So it drops you right there. You can oftentimes bill a little bit later. And then the last bill spot is in the double. So you can obviously take double and then bill, like this. But there's actually a faster way. So this is the much better way to do the bill in the double, which is just you get an SMT right before the double, and you just jump into the chasm, and then you activate your bill right as you're about to land. So that way this build takes you, well, usually it takes you to the finish line, but since obviously I was in first, it didn't take me that long. So in terms of alternate paths and, you know, other stuff, if you get hit out early, these coins right here are very useful to get. And I suggest you do it like this way. See, oh, see, there's a good example. I suggest you go for the coins like this, and then just grab them like this. And that way, it just takes you back on the normal path. Now, in terms of alternate paths, if you don't take the double, it's not good at all. I would never suggest not going for the double. But if you do get hit and you don't think you're going to make the chasm, you can go around. But as long as you like back up, you can still like make the double with like very little speed. So this path is almost never worth going for. But sometimes you get hit out on the double, and sometimes it's not worth it to go up here and try and make the double again, because you'll be out of bounds. You won't have enough speed. So you know, this path is sometimes useful. You have these coins up here, or the boost from the half pipe is going to give you some essence of like, you know, speed going into this part. So it's not that much slower as opposed to, you know, if you get hit out. It's a little bit faster to try and go for the double still and turn on smart steering, but that's like pretty complicated. So if you just go around, it's not going to lose that much time, and you can get some coins as well. Now, in terms of the left half pipe, this part is not useful at all. I would never suggest going for this part. The coins are really far out of the way on this left side, but if you can't go for this tight part, or you want to get some coins, these coins are much more useful to go for and much more practical. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let's get this DKS tutorial to 50 likes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Next Friday, next track tutorial. See you guys later.